So just some norms. I've muted everyone. Um, we're going to be using the chat box if you have any questions that we'll be answering today. Today is more informal, to be honest, where it's a chance for all of you to ask any questions that you have, any clarifications that you need. I actually have some team members with me here today as well that I'm really excited about, that I will introduce in a minute. Just some housekeeping things. I just admitted a few of you more. So as people come in, I will be admitting them. And as I do, if I repeat the same thing over again, it's only because I'm admitting people on a regular basis. Just before I get started, this meeting is being recorded. So if you have any specific questions related specifically to your child, please do not ask them here. Please send me a private email so that we can address them privately. This particular video will be posted on our school YouTube page. So to maintain confidentiality, I just ask that you not ask any personal questions that you may have. Please keep the questions for the whole of the group. And so with that being said, I have a team of teachers with me here, and also our academic counselor. Who, both the teachers and the academic counselor are actually on summer break. So I am very thankful that they were able to join us. So they will be able to answer any specific questions that you have. I saw some parents clapping. And so yes, that's how dedicated our teachers and our academic counselors here are, that even though they're on break, they are still willing to join us. So I could not do this without them. And that is the honest truth. I feel that they are the ones who help this school continue to reopen and do all of the amazing things that we do here. So we have Mr. Love here, Ms. Farrell here, and our academic counselor, Mr. Millay, is here as well. And he's also the link crew advisor. So so he will be able to answer any questions that you have. I do want to just spend about 2 minutes just going over some basic information from emails that I've received, questions that I've had in any of the previous meetings, so that if you had these same questions, you will have them answered before you even ask. We are planning to have back to school night. We are still determining the dates. We will have a schedule for back to school night as well, that will be released on August 7th. The teachers officially come back on August 6th. So we do have a plan ready to go, but I definitely want to share it with them first before I share it out to the families. We will also have schedule pickups, Chromebook pickups, and all of that on either August 10th or August 11th. We are still getting both of the dates figured out. Link crew orientation will also be on August 10th. I will let Mr. Millay talk about that in a minute. And so what we're trying to navigate right now is having schedule pickups be after link crew orientation. And so we're trying to figure out, finalize all the times, but definitely keep August 10th available so that you can pick up your schedules. If you're not able to come on that particular date, just let us know on that date. When you get the email on the 7th, there will also be instructions for how to get your schedule if you can't come on the 10th. So we will have other opportunities as well. Every single student will get a Chromebook, so you do not need to fill out a form or anything like that. When you come on the 10th, you will be able to check out a Chromebook as well. School does officially start on August 12th. August 12th, however, is a Wednesday. So according to our distance learning schedule, Wednesdays are at-home learning days, which doesn't really make sense because it's the first day of school and the kids want to meet their teachers and the teachers want to meet their students too. So we are developing a schedule for that as well that we will be sharing out on August 7th. A recommended supply list will also be provided as well on August 7th. So on August 7th, you're going to get a pretty long email with links to back to school night, supply list, also information about pickup schedules and all of that. So look for that email on the 7th. It will have a lot of information. Some other questions that I've had was about, how can I change my schedule? Well, on the 10th, when you come and pick up your schedule, immediately in your child's email box. So it won't be in your email, it will be in your student's email. There will be a change request form that your student can fill out. Once they fill it out, the academic counselors will go through it, change the schedule, call them in, virtually call them in, or send them an email to determine why the schedule changed and things like that. There are certain classes that are full, and if they're full, we can't really accommodate those requests. And then also independent study PE will still happen. It will be through Mr. Farwig, and so there will be a syllabus that will be provided by him for that as well. Some other questions that I've received is, when are we going to switch to hybrid? And I think Dr. Wood gives the perfect answer for that, where your crystal ball is as good as mine. I don't know. Currently, based on the information that I have today, which was about an hour ago, we are looking at possibly going to hybrid sometime mid-September to late September. But just because we're allowed to switch to hybrid doesn't mean we're going to immediately switch to hybrid. We have to get the proper parameters set in place. We have to get the proper safety protocols in place. And we also don't want to have kids say, okay, tomorrow come back to school in hybrid. We may, depending on the date that, we may decide to wait a little bit to finish out the quarter. So that's currently where we're at right now with regards to that. The rest of it, I'm going to actually just answer all of your questions. And I have Mr. Millay here who's going to help me. I'm going to have Mr. Millay just talk a little bit about Link Crew because that's a big topic. And then after that, we'll be able to answer all the questions. For those of you that just joined us, just as an FYI, the meeting is being recorded. And so if you have any personal questions for your particular student, please send those to me privately. This video will be posted on our YouTube page. So I just want to make sure that we honor confidentiality. So I've already addressed some things. So after the video is posted on YouTube, make sure you go back and take a look if you just joined us recently. But I will answer questions as they come up, and some of the information might be repeated. So Mr. Millay, I will hand it over to you.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Perfect. Okay, hi. My name, yes, is Mr. Millay, Jason Millay. I am the 9th and 10th grade academic counselor for both VLA and PFAA. I'm really excited to get to meet and know your students even more this year if they were with us in 8th grade last year. And if not, welcome to Natomas Charter School. We're really excited that you're here. So we start the year every year with a really important, really big orientation program. It's called Link Crew. It's a national program that we're a part of. And in all honesty, I like to brag that we have one of the best programs. We are a unique school, and so we get to do unique things with it. But typically, on a traditional year, a normal year, we would have all the kids come to the gym. The teachers would be waiting in the door. They would make a huge tunnel, and the kids are like, the door's open, and they walk through, and all of a sudden there's all these the juniors and seniors and teachers, administrators cheering them on, welcoming them to high school. They would get a shirt. And then we have all sorts of fun that day. They get to know their mentors. They play a bunch of activities, all that have purpose to them and lessons about how to be successful in high school, and the pitfalls and how to avoid those and all those kind of things. That obviously can't happen in the same format this year. So instead, we have gone to a virtual. We've spent a lot of time recreating the program. We have talked to lots of other schools, and even the Boomerang Project, who is the overarching company that oversees Link Crew and Web, and have created a really cool virtual program. And so we're really excited for that. Still, every single ninth grader will have a minimum of 3 mentors that are juniors and seniors. These mentors will be meeting with the students on, I have, and I'm sorry, Dr. Gandhi, if I got this wrong, but I have orientation on Tuesday, August 11th from 1 to 4 for ninth graders. I
No,
just wanted to, is that correct?
yeah, I misspoke. You're right.
Okay, cool. So Tuesday, August 11th from 1 to 4, your students will sign in. They'll hear a little bit of a spiel from me, an assembly, kind of open an assembly kind of thing. And then they will meet in small groups through Google Meet virtually with their students, with their mentors. And the mentors will guide them through about an hour and a half worth of activities and discussions about high school, the plan moving forward, and just how to be the best possible student that they can be at Natomas Charter School. And then throughout the year, the leaders will be meeting with them once or twice a week. That's still being determined about what that's going to look like. One time a week will be definitely socially focused. So just building connections, building a sense of community, building a sense of belonging, a support system for them, and having fun within their small groups and their mentors. The other one will be academic focused. And that one is a program that we've started here at Natomas Charter School a couple years ago. We've had great success with. In fact, the last 2 years, we haven't had a ninth grader end the year on academic probation. And we're very proud of that. And that is partly because our mentorship program, actually the mentors take time to sign our students into Schoology, which is our online system for students and parents to get access to, and teachers post assignments and grades and all sorts of stuff. And our mentors have our students sign in, and they review with the students how they're doing in class. So if they're missing assignments, they make a plan of action. If they have a test coming up, hey, we need to make sure you're studying for that test. Let's make a schedule of how you're going to prepare for that test. You have this big project coming up. I remember that project. I was once in ninth grade here. It's a really important project. These are the keys to success. And they guide them through week by week, basically, what's going on in their academic world, in helping them stay on task and stay motivated. And if they do fall behind, working with me, the academic counselor, Dr. Gandhi, the coordinator, and other people and their teachers to make a plan to get them caught up. So that's the overarching kind of Link Crew plan for this year. We're here to help. We're here to support. Every student, like I said, will have 3 mentors, and we're really excited to take on this challenge. It's going to be different this year, at least for the time being, but we are very confident that the students aren't going to miss out on anything. It's just going to be a different experience for them.
Thank you. So just to clarify, I apologize. There are too many dates running in my head right now. August 11th is the Link Crew orientation. Yes. So if you wrote August 10th, please cross that off. It is August 11th. Schedule pickup for high school students is August 10th. So August 10th is when we will be picking up schedules, picking up Chromebooks, picking up art supplies if you're taking a visual arts course, because our visual arts department are developing kits for our students as well. This will be also the time to pick up textbooks if any of your classrooms have textbooks as well. So I'm going to go through the questions. One of them asks, do you know when the middle school meeting from yesterday and this meeting will post to the recording page? Yes, I will have everything posted on Friday. And the reason that I'm not posting everything until Friday is because we have various meetings. We had 3 meetings yesterday. Today we have an incoming 9th grade, current 9th grade, 10th grade, and then we have one more meeting tomorrow. So everything will be uploaded at the same time on Friday, and you will get an email as well with the link to the YouTube page. If you can't hear anything, I suggest that you log off and try to log back in. Someone asked, I'm new to Schoology. How do I get an account? That's a great question. So your student will automatically get an account, and then you as the parent will also get an email from our office to sign up for a Schoology parent portal account. And then speaking of Schoology, Ms. Farrell, can you kind of talk about how Schoology works for high school students? And we have some questions about that to me privately, how it works, what is the purpose of it? Can you, and talk about how grades are updated on there as well, if you don't mind?
Sure, no problem. So In a way, you can think of Schoology as like the academic Facebook page for every class, in that we have an ongoing sort of stream of posts that has all the information you need. And the newest information is generally always at the top. So sort of like your Facebook page, you log in and you see the newest stuff at the top, and you can look backwards in time. So teachers will have folders generally on their Schoology page that will be labeled. And in those folders, they will have links to different resources that students can need. So for instance, I teach biology and chemistry. I'll have one folder on my Schoology page that says all the things you need for chemistry, and it will have links to periodic tables and to formula sheets and to things like that. Then I'll have another folder that will be listed for each week that we're in school, and it will be listed by the date. And when a student wants to know what did we do in class that week, what are we learning that week, where are the resources I need in order to be successful that week, they would go to that week's folder, open it up. Inside that, there's going to be activities that are going to be labeled learn. That's going to be the materials related to what we're learning. There's going to be things labeled do. Those are going to be activities that a student needs to do. So there might be a video to watch in learn. There might be some notes to fill out in learn. There might be a link to my lecture slides in learn. In do, there might be links to a worksheet or to an online simulation or to a virtual lab that I want them to do. Whatever activity that I want my students to do to practice the skills that we're learning that week will be in the do. Then there'll be something called connect, where I will be asking my students to make connections with themselves and with me. That might be a request to post to a discussion board. It might be a request to make a video and post it to Flipgrid. It might be that I pair them up with each other and ask them to email each other directly with comments and critiques on something that they're working on. So it's a way for them to create classroom community, even though we're all in our own safe spaces right now. And then finally, there'll be, at least certain weeks, there'll be something called demonstrate. And that's where students will demonstrate what they've learned. So that's where quizzes, tests, assessments, papers, projects, depending on what the classroom is, that's where those links will be. And so in Schoology, it organizes all of this information and provides one portal for you to be able to go and find all the information your teacher is providing to the student, all the extra supplemental materials. And then in addition, it's your online gradebook. So then when students submit work, which they can do through Schoology, I can grade it right there in that same application. And then you would be able to, and your students would be able to access their grades and see how they did on any given assignment. They can send me a message directly. I can respond back to them directly. So it's sort of an overarching one-stop communication portal for students. Ms. Gandhi, did that pretty much hit what you would like covered?
Yes, ma'am. Perfect.
Can I add something, Dr. Gandhi?
Yes.
I just want to, anytime that we have a meeting with a parent and a student that's having any academic concerns at all or has fallen behind anything, the first place we go is Schoology. It is the most important tool that we have at our as a resource to us. It's the way that you can directly communicate and see how things are going. So I do highly suggest, not every day, not multiple times a day, be checking grades or anything like that as a parent, but do be checking, once or twice a week and seeing how your student is and making a plan while we're in this distance learning to help make sure that they are staying on track.
Thank you. And then Mr. Molay, there's another question about Link Crew. Will they know their schedule so they can connect with kids at Link Crew?
Will they know their class schedule? I'm sorry. Will they know their class schedule?
I think they're asking about class schedule.
So if class schedules picked up the day before on the 10th, they will have their class schedule. So they will know who their teachers are and stuff like that. And part of Link Crew is we're going to have a virtual campus tour, and the students will be taken. We made this really cute little video of us zooming through campus on a cart. And then we pause it every once in a while. And the leaders will be talking about, like, Miss Ewell is your English teacher, and she's amazing. And this is what you're going to be doing in these classes. And this is once you're back on class or back on campus, this is where you will report. We'll do the same thing with Miss Farrell's class and all sorts of stuff. So they will know their class schedule. They'll know, they'll talk about who their teachers are as well, so that they can be prepared for the school to start the next day. Hopefully that answers that question.
Perfect. And then someone else just entered, just as an FYI, this meeting is being recorded, so please don't ask any personal questions. This will be posted on our school YouTube page. Next question, will they have a Chromebook before the web link meeting? So the link crew meetings on the 11th and schedule and Chromebook pickups are on the 10th. So yes, they will have their Chromebooks before orientation for link crew. Next question. So how will you know the student's email address? Will there be a form they need to fill out? Are you referring to link crew or so we as administrators have, when you filled out your registration packet on InfoSnap, we have access to all of the incoming students. So that's how you've been getting emails from me. It's because I click this button that goes directly to incoming students. Same with Link Crew as well. They have access to all parent emails. Student emails have not been developed just yet for ninth graders. If you're an incoming new ninth grader, they will be developed when you pick up your Chromebooks. You will receive your email address. So when you receive your email address, you will see all of the information on there, what the schedule request and all that. We've already made the email addresses for the new students, but we haven't shared them yet because when you pick up your Chromebook, you'll have to go through a process to log in to our NCS account. And then once you do, you will have your email at that point. But you're receiving emails from me because I already have access to all parent emails right now. August 10th is schedule pickup and August 11th is link crew orientation, correct? Yes, and I apologize for the confusion at the beginning. That was my fault. There's just many dates going on in my head right now. So August 10th is schedule pickup and Chromebook pickup and supply pickup and book pickup, and August 11th is link crew orientation. Can you please repeat the time for orientation and meeting location? So link crew orientation is on August 11th from 1 to 4, and it will be virtual, and Mr. Malay will be sending out information about that in a few days. And schedule pickup is in person, and it will be on August 10th, and you will also receive a schedule for that as well on August 7th. So on August 7th, look for your email. You're going to have lots of links, lots of schedules, lots of information on that. Yes, link crew orientation 1 to 4 on August 11th. Is schedule pickup the same for middle school and high school? If not, will it be possible to pick up both in a single visit? They aren't the same. We have a separate day for middle school and we have a separate day for high school. So for middle school, it's on the 11th, and for high school, it's on the 10th. However, if you're not able to pick up at the same different times due to work schedules, we will have an option where you're able to pick up both schedules at the same time. So on August 7th, we'll have instructions for that as well. How will music, strings, concert, orchestra classes look like compared to what we did in the spring? That's a great question. And I think I have Miss Gaffroy on here. If not, I can answer it. Miss Gaffroy, are you still on here?
I am.
Are you able to answer that question? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Geffroy. I am the strings teacher, but I'm also an incoming 9th grade parent as well. So how will classes, the question was about class.
So the question was, how will music, parentheses, strings, concert, orchestra classes look like compared to what we did in the spring? And I can elaborate on it if you just want to get it started.
So we've met as a department team quite a bit. We've come up with a lot of different topics we can use for virtual, for distance learning, but we're also going to be spending a lot of time on individual skills, looking at some new tools for coordination, looking at how we can have sectional practice. So in my class, it would be the violins practicing together, cellos and basses, that kind of thing. So breaking up into smaller groups, almost like a breakout room from a Zoom meeting.
and then in the hybrid environment, we've already ordered bases, not base, I'm sorry, stands.
Yes.
And so we'll be able, so we're going to set up the stands in the classroom so that students are able to spread out more. Also, we are purchasing cameras for live instruction so that teachers are able to really focus in on the instruments, and so that they're able to see how to play the particular instruments as well. We are also planning for virtual concerts, virtual shows. We've looked at drive-ins possibly where the students are physically distancing and then having everyone else stay in the car and or displaying it on a big screen. So we're exploring that as well. So we're definitely ready, and we're going to be we basically have plans A through Z ready to go. If we stay on distance learning, we are going to switch immediately to virtual shows, virtual concerts. If we come back to hybrid, we will have more shows maybe with less students, or maybe have smaller shows, breaking up some of our classes as well between cohorts. So so that's kind of where we're at right now with that. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Ms. Gaffroy, or?
I don't think so. So we're also exploring, when we are back on campus, working with smaller ensembles, since we won't have all of our students there on the same day. So lots of chamber music, especially in my class.
Perfect, thank you. Another question that we have is, what is the expected time of grading assignments in Schoology between when they're completed by the student and when they will be graded by the teacher? In middle school, sometimes it could be weeks before I knew my child was behind in completing assignments. I think this is a great question. So we are currently installing a policy to support our families, because right now it's definitely a dynamic and changing time. So assignments on Schoology will be posted by Sunday, and assignments will be due by Friday, and which means that teachers will have grades updated for the previous week by Wednesday, so that students will have immediate feedback, and they will immediately know how they are doing in the class. And we're also doing this because the way that we collect attendance and work completion is much different. And so this is actually a good way and a good time to reevaluate how we do that as well. Will students be able to decide their art classes before they receive their schedules? So I'm actually going to let Mr. Millay answer that question.
So students submitted their requests for classes at the in the spring last year. So there was a Google form that was sent out to parents and students last year, actually prior to March, when that we all went on distance learning. And then we worked with students during distance learning to complete those if they hadn't yet. So all students should have already completed that. If not, they are more than welcome to email us, and we'll see what we can do to get them what they want. Students also have the opportunity to complete a schedule change request form that Dr. Gandhi talked about early on, which will go out on the 10th with their schedule pickup day. They'll get it in their email, their student email, and from me actually, and they'll fill out that form requesting, I don't want this class, instead I would like this class. And myself and Ms. Tiffany, Ms. Gandhi will all look at that together and work our best magic to make as much work as possible. So that is the system right now that we have. And as Dr. Gandhi mentioned, some classes are full already, so there is just some things that we're not going to be able to do. But as I always tell students, just because Monday it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it's not going to work on Wednesday, because somebody could change their schedule and drop out of that full class that was Monday that didn't let you get in. So do check back on Wednesday and throughout that week that we do the schedule changes, check back frequently so that we can see if there has been movement, because it is a fluid, dynamic, live thing that we're working with. So 1 minute something's full, the next minute it might have 2 seats in it, and it's just all about timing and stuff like that with it, and checking back and being the squeaky wheel, I would say. Yeah.
And as a follow-up to that, please also keep in mind that we only have a certain capacity that we can actually hold in a classroom because of instruments, supplies that we have as well. So just because you can't take a class this year doesn't necessarily mean you can't take it the next year. So keeping, you know, perspective in mind about that is important as well. So the next question is, my son has a Chromebook from 8th grade. Should he bring it on August 10th for an exchange or keep it at home? Please bring it on August 10th because we will not be able to issue you a new one until we get that Chromebook back. So have your student bring that Chromebook, get it checked back in, and then you will check out a new one. Another question is, how much time will be needed for schedule/Chromebook pickup? Will there be Chromebook setup needed when we pick up? So that's a great question. So our plan is to do it actually very quickly to get students in and out because, you know, we want to get as many kids their schedules and stay on schedule as well with our own schedule. So actually students, everything will be set up, so they should theoretically be able to just grab their Chromebook and go home, and then they will need to, once they go home, turn on the Chromebook and follow the steps to get their account set up. My daughter's 2 art class choices were ceramics and theater stage production. Are those classes still an option? If so, what will that look like during distance learning? So as of today, and as of pretty much our plan for this entire school year, students will be taking their planned courses. We will not be, we don't have any plans to change any classes in terms of we can't offer certain classes. We are offering everything still. Our program still is what it is. We will need to be creative, and that's what we're working on, as Mr. Malay and our teachers are sharing, that we're going to need to be creative, but our plan is as it is. So if your student signed up for ceramics and theater stage production, expect to still take that. It will look different during distance learning. I know with ceramics, we've purchased cameras, and so that Miss Greninger will be able to do live demonstrations with the camera right over her area, so that students are able to easily see those demonstrations. With theater stage productions, we are looking more at students working at home, building smaller projects to allow them to still be building props for our upcoming productions. So things are going to look different, but our students are still taking the same courses. It will still be a robust program like we've always had. Will you explain cohort? I'm not familiar with that term. Yes. So cohort is basically, what that means is that it's a group of students that are together. So when we switch to hybrid, our students will be either on cohort A or cohort B, and some students may choose to stay on distance learning. So if you're in the cohort A, you will be on campus Monday and Tuesday, and then you will be learning at home on Thursday and Friday. And Wednesdays, everybody learns at home. If you're in cohort B, then you would be on campus Thursdays and Fridays, but you'd be learning at home on Mondays and Tuesdays. So cohort is just the same group of students that are together, and they travel together. And it also helps with detecting cases if we need to do any transmission detection to figure out which students might be exposed if we were to have a positive case on campus. Question was, the hybrid model will include synchronous instruction? Yes. Will there be helpers for teachers to facilitate management of both in-class students and online students? It seems like a lot to coordinate the first 30 minutes of class. I worry about the teachers being overwhelmed. So yes, we are definitely working on that. Our teachers are preparing for the first 15 to 30 minutes of live instruction, and then the next 30 minutes, giving students an opportunity to log off or stay logged on, depending on what the teacher is doing at that time. For an example, in an arts class, so if you're taking orchestra with Miss, why am I blanking? With our music teacher, you would go ahead and be able to, if you're taking orchestra, you will be able to stay on the entire time if the teacher feels comfortable with you staying on the entire time, so that they can practice their instruments together, so that they can have instruction, small group instruction together. There might be certain situations in certain classes where the teacher may do a demonstration, like in a science class, and then after that have students log off to go work on independent practice. And then at the end of class, they would log back in, and when they log back in, there would be a closure for all. So it's really going to be based on what's going on in that classroom and what's going on with that teacher. In certain situations, that teacher may decide that I only need to see all of you for the first 15 minutes so I can give directions to the project that you're doing, or give a demonstration, or model a lesson, or teach algebraic expressions if they're taking a math class. Teaching will occur the first 15 to 30 minutes-ish, and then students after that will have the opportunity to either log off, or they will get small group instruction. In certain situations, like our music classes and our dance classes, the teachers may decide to keep them the full 75 minutes because it's kind of hard to rehearse with your instruments and your practicing point if you're taking ballet when you're on your own. It makes more sense if you're all practicing together at the same time. Is there anything else you want to add, Ms. Gaffroy? I got your name. I blinked for a second. I don't know why.
No, just that the arts teachers I've talked to, we pretty much plan on keeping our students for the full time and working in small groups and sectionals kind of things.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I was blanking for a second.
No worries.
There's just a lot of questions coming in at the same time. Is it too early to know what the virtual schedule will look like? Will students be online in classes for each period every day from 9 to 2:30? So I think I answered that question, but as a friendly reminder, students will be in school from 9 to 3. Yes, the expectation is that they are in school. This is not crisis teaching anymore. So this is actually distance learning. So however, your child will not necessarily be on a computer from 9 to 2:30, because we all know that's not best for students either. So the students will need to log in period by period. They will have some time for live instruction, some time to practice independently or in collaborative groups, and then some time to log off. However, it will be up to the teacher and their discretion on how long they want to keep the kids. In certain situations, there might be certain classes where the teacher has everybody log on just for a quick 10 minutes to do a quick check-in. And then after that, give them time to work independently on their project. And then at the end, have everybody log back on for the last 30 minutes so that teacher can address questions to the whole group about the project, clarify anything, do presentations, things like that. So it's really going to be a fluid situation, and each teacher will have their own style of what will work for them to the best. And then based on delays with ordering items online, i.e. books, materials, supplies, can you provide the list of materials ASAP so that we can order materials for art classes and any other students will need materials for? Can you provide us with a list of books the kids will read freshman year, Fahrenheit 451, etc. Thanks. So all supply lists will be provided on August 7th. Our teachers don't officially return to campus until August 6th. And so we will have a supply list that will go out on August 7th. Textbooks, you do not need to purchase any textbooks on your own. We provide that as a school. So when students come and pick up their schedules, they will also pick up any textbooks, any novels that they will be reading for the year as well. Would this group like to have so I think that's a different convo, but the parent said, would this group like to have a Facebook class of 2024 for chatting? We can set up a private group so that over the years, especially this year, we can run questions by each other. I'd be happy to get it started. So as a follow-up to that, I'm actually going to hand it over to, I'm not sure if she's on, Miss Hill. Oh, perfect. So I'm going to hand it over to Miss Hill. So this is a perfect segue into our P4A conversation. This is Miss Wendy Ray Hill. She's our P4A president. So I will let her talk and take over.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being on today. I'm getting a little bit excited and a lot of bit nervous about the beginning of the school year. I am returning as the P4A president this year, but we've had to do a lot of pivoting. For those of you that are not familiar with P4A, which stands for Parents for the Arts, it is the parent support group for the campus. It was established many, many years ago as its own 501c3. So we are our own separate organization aside from the school, although you wouldn't really know that because we work so closely together. We were established primarily as a way to fundraise for and provide funds for the art programs and support the art programs at the charter school. A lot of you who are returning know that we do a lot of fundraising. In fact, every year we have our huge fundraiser, which is the crab feed, which raises tens of thousands of dollars that go directly back into the classrooms. Last year, our crab feed was scheduled for a Friday night, and we were put in shelter in place the Thursday before the crab feed. So, and we're still reconciling everything from the crab feed. There are still a handful of you that are waiting for refunds and your donation letters for tickets and so forth. We're, as of all volunteers, all parent volunteers, we are slowly working to try to see what we can do to reconcile deposits and things that had already been paid, how to get that money back, all that fun stuff. As you can well imagine, given the economic and just overall life stress in all of our families, coming in strong to this school year with a big fundraising base when the vast majority of our events revolve around in-person participation, we've had to pivot a lot. So we will definitely be continuing to pivot on how we're going to do sort of fundraising to keep the organization going for future years. But in the meantime, our focus is going to be all around parent support and how we can best connect us as parents to our students, to the school, to the teachers, and just to each other. So the way that we kind of have planned to do that is we do have a leadership team. In the past, it's been fairly small, but we're looking to grow that leadership team to basically encompass anybody who wants to take a little higher level of involvement besides just attending something. We have our executive committee, which are our officers. Our officers are, because we are our own 501c3, we need to have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, all of that sort of administrative stuff. There are openings on the executive committee. We're also going to have operating committees, and the operating committees are going to sort of work independently on things like communications, working on parent outreach, working on fundraising. Some of it will be kind of a little bit more administrative, like, you know, updating our bylaws and policies and things of that nature. We also will continue to have and really need our booster supports. Okay, so in the past, the boosters have really been instrumental in helping with a lot of the live performances. We're not stopping live performances. We're not stopping art shows, but they're definitely going to be a lot different. And whereas we may not have the opportunity for 15 parents to go build a set in October, we are going to have the opportunity for 15 parents to help put on some type of virtual or social distance type of thing. So parents are really going to need to be involved and work really closely with department heads and art teachers to kind of pull off these experiences that we want our students to have. And then finally, and what's most important, and I think what Wendy had said in the chat and what a few people have already agreed on, is what is the best method to do grade specific contact with parents. I think a Facebook group is fantastic. I think that having you know, whether they be monthly Zoom meetings or email groups or Google Meets or whatever it is, whatever way is best for parents to be able to connect with each other. There are a number of reasons for it. I mean, simple things like Schoology, or what do I do about, you know, different projects or things of that nature. But I think another really important reason for us to connect, and this is the last thing that I'll leave you with, is that we have a lot of expectations for our kids, right? Like, these kids are coming in as freshmen, right? You have a lot of expectations about what freshman year is going to be like, just like we had a lot of expectations about what senior year was going to be like. And those expectations were not met in terms of what we expected. So we have our own perception of how we think things will go and the experiences that we want our students to have. But in this particular year, those expectations aren't going to be met. It doesn't mean that our kids aren't going to have their own unique, amazing experiences, and those are going to be theirs. And so with the negativity that any of us are feeling, because I know I'm feeling it as well, with the negativity that any of us are feeling about like the loss and the sadness of the things that aren't happening, if we can kind of share that with each other, as opposed to projecting it on our kids, I think our kids are going to be a lot better off with this experience. So I really want us to be able to build, you know, a community with each other and kind of help each other, you know, get through this stuff so that it makes it easier for our students to just have this really cool experience. Because I do truly believe that the expectations that we have will come back someday. But until then, they're still going to have their own unique, amazing experience. And we have the opportunity to help pave that for them. So if you're interested in getting involved prior to the start of school, we are currently in the process of trying to update the website, update the Facebook and all that kind of stuff, but feel free to email me at president@gmail.com, and I'm happy to loop you into the leadership team before start of school. Otherwise, you'll start getting information from us at the bottom of Dr. Gandhi's weekly updates that go out each week, that will help you connect into the various different committees, boosters, and class groups.
Thank you. And then there's actually one question that I'll just let you answer. The question is,
are boosters a part of P4A? Yes, the boosters are a part of P4A. So the parents work through P4A to help with the organizing, fundraising, and resources to put on the shows and events and assist with the various different departments.
Perfect. And thank you. The next question is, has it already been determined which students are in Group A versus Group B? The answer is no, we have not determined that yet. We decided that we wanted to wait before we send that out. Parents will have a voice in terms of which cohort that they prefer. However, we have not sent out that sign-up form yet, and that's simply because we want to first reopen school. We want to get our students accustomed to distance learning. We want to get our staff back on campus. And I know that some of our other charters like Westlake have already sent it out, but do recognize that they've also already modified it. And so things will be modified as it goes on. And so we've just decided that we want to wait a little bit until our students are back and they're, used to distance learning. And then after that, when we're ready and we know factually that we will be switching to hybrid at a particular time frame, then we will go ahead and send that form out at that point. The next question is, what if internet connection is lost during class? Are they marked absent? So no, the student is not marked absent. Each teacher will have their own protocol and process for that. And so, obviously, with everything, connectivity issues happen. Yesterday, I was trying to share my document and I couldn't share it when I was presenting for the middle school families. And so things like that will happen. And so, as soon as you have connectivity to the best of your ability, obviously have your student contact their teacher and let them know that they lost connectivity, and their teacher will obviously be very understanding about that. There was a question as a follow-up to that if teachers would be providing their cell phone numbers, and the answer to that is no. We do not provide that. Each teacher may decide on their own. Some teachers, if they choose to, but we do not make that expectation. I know for me personally, I provided my cell phone to some family members during crisis teaching because that was the only way that we could connect to have our meetings, our IEPs, and 504s. So my number would just show up on there. And but I advise them that this is my personal cell phone number. So if they do need to contact me, to please email me. So so the expectation is not that our staff will provide their cell phone numbers. The best way to get a hold of them is via email. So as soon as you have connectivity, please reach out to them. But please also know that if you are not connecting, we will reach out to you. Because that's part of our guidelines as well, and part of our re-engagement plan and our process, that if you're not engaging for the class due to various reasons, we will reach out to make sure that you have all the tools and support that you need so that you can be engaged with class. And then I think that's it for all the questions that I can see on here, but I would like to hand it over to Mr. Love. He is our foreign language department chair. So he's going to talk about some specific things that incoming freshmen will be asked to do in August. So Mr. Love.
Thank you, Ms. Gandhi, and I hope everyone can hear me. It is nice to see everybody, and mine's actually really quick. Every year we have several students who are coming into either Spanish 1 or French 1, which is the first level of language, or Mandarin 1 that we teach at the school, who have had prior experience or whose skills are higher than that class really requires. And so we do offer students the ability to test out of level 1 languages at the school. You'll be receiving information about what that test looks like. It's going to be an online test, obviously this year. You'll be receiving information on the 10th when you pick up the schedules. And that's correct. The schedule pickup is the 10th, correct? But it will be a test that will ask the students to speak, listen, write, and read in whatever their target language is. So I just wanted to make sure everyone heard that beforehand. So if you do feel your student has had language experience, you can also reach out to me directly if you need any more specifics, which is glove@natomascharter.org. It's been a while. And please feel free to reach out to me if you want any more specifics about that. Thank you very much.
So it looks like I don't see any more questions in our chat. So if there are no more questions, you can go ahead and sign off. Thank you for attending. I hope this provided some clarity for you. And if you still have questions, please do reach out. As you can tell, our teachers are dedicated. We have a teacher who's also a parent, but she still answered my questions, even though she was put on the spot. That's just what we do. Miss Farrell is here. She's also our freshman advisor who will now be moving on to the 10th grade. Our advisors move up with their classes as well. She teaches most of the freshman courses, same with Mr. Love. So we're here, we're available. Mr. Malay is our academic counselor and our link crew. So he's here and available as well. Please keep in mind that they are still on summer break. So if you email them and the response is delayed, it's because they are still on break. But they're pretty amazing and flexible, and they've been awesome. So thank you so much. I will stay on until the end if in case there's any questions at the end. I will stop the recording once everybody's signed off. Any questions that I can answer for you? Wendy, you're still on. Wendy, can I end the meeting? Is that okay? Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then I'm going to end the meeting.